with giant playoff implications for them both. It's the USL Championship on ESPN. It's Sacramento hosting Orange County. And quite a bit of contact from Sean Okoli right off the jump. Sacramento, 8 home wins, just 1 loss, 4 draws this season. Hard Health Park has been good for the soul for this Republic team this season. Keko strikes out at it. Appeal for the offside. Indeed, as Brian Olosky races through. Meanwhile, for Orange County, 9-5-3 on the road last year, only 2-7-4 this year. As a little bit of sunlight comes out here, Dev, it's a little bit fascinating with this Orange County team because they relieve Braden Cloutier of his position as head coach. Richard Chaplow comes in. They go on this incredible run at the end of last year, 10-3-4 in their last 17. And they just haven't been able to recapture that magic. And it seems like every time they're close, something else gets pulled out from under them.
Still can't believe they're in this situation, Mike, to be honest,
yeah,
because of the talent that they have. And, you know, respectfully, you can look around the USL Championship and see other teams that have been struggling. This team can still play, right? You've got the Golden Boot winner at this point in time and Milan Olosky up top. Ugo Okoli can hold up play for you. Brian Olosky's been injured. The injuries have been a massive hit to this team. And so you talked about Sacramento Republic really seeing their full 11 for the first time. When have we ever seen that for Orange County?
Kicked out by Foster and Orozco in pursuit. Former U.S. national teamer, 29 caps, 4 goals, including a goal in a win at the Azteca for the U.S. Keko. Not to pull a Mike Tirico or anything, but Devin feels fine. His throat's a little bit under the weather today.
Too many planes, too many trains, not enough automobiles, family life and games. It's good problems to have, right? But then again, coming on air, what did I say? I'll never take for granted my voice again, so apologies there. We can have a little fun with it. People pay good money for a deep voice like this, right?
I suppose.
Phoebe on Friends kept getting sick over and over. The difference is I'm not sick, I just have no voice. So apologies to all the USL Championship fans out there.
Rodrigo Lopez chasing it. Orozco, Villanueva. And rolled out by Milan Olosky. Going to sprint out past Danny Vitiello. Club's got 13 clean sheets this year. It's tied for the record for Sacramento Republic. There's Mark Briggs, 39 years young and seemingly at the top of his game right now. Pilots the run through the Open Cup for Sacramento and has them sitting 4th in the league. Dangerous going forward, taken out by Ross. Rolled ahead for Keko. Keko angling, serving, caught by Rakowski. Patrick Rakowski last year led this team through that tremendous late season surge. His recent form seen a massive uptick as a team that seemingly couldn't keep the ball out of their own net in the first half of the season started to find a defensive identity again. Whipped across via Dare through the top of the 6. Lopez was barking for a foul and now out.
Briggs felt like there was a little bit of pull on the back post there. Don't necessarily see enough contact from him, but it is a tweak from Orange County. They've moved more to a traditional 4, Mike, with Villanueva, Roscoe, Skendi, and then Ian Hoffman has come deeper. That allows Danny Peterson to step up into the midfield. That's my favorite location for him. Recently, because of injuries and form. They've had him on the back line, more than capable there as well, but definitely a threat higher up on the pitch.
This is Lopez. Delivers, first headers away. Villader chased it. All the way down to Vidiello. Free kick. Orozco. Villanueva. Peterson falls down. Away from Foster, pushed out by Keko. Foster delivers off of Villanueva. Corner, Sacramento.
Too many mistakes. You're playing out of the back line. This is too simple for Sac Republic to stay high in these situations. You got to be smarter. Whether it's Danny Peterson dropping back, Albie getting some of the balls, they got to be smarter here.
Service header is in! What a start for Sacramento! Damia Villader, the domineering header. And now a massive argument between the AR, the referee, and the Orange County assembled.
The linesman had the flag up. Everybody stopped. That's why I kept talking to you, Mike, because the linesman on the near touchline had his flag up. That's why all the Orange County players had stopped. They're standing around. They expected a stoppage of play because of the notification from the AR.
Well, Richard Chaplow looks a bit dumbfounded. And it goes without saying, an enormous early decision in this game. Orozco, who captains Orange County, his hometown club. You might be able to tell from his face how this conversation goes. They have given the goal.
Wow.
And the Republic crowd exults. 1-0 Sacramento.
Watch the near touchline for the assistant referee. Flag goes up, then comes back down. Ball was moving, restarted it, goes up, puts it back down. Everybody stops. Two schools of thought here, Mike. Number one, you can't stop playing. You cannot stop in this situation. You gotta find a way to continue on until the head referee blows the whistle. Number two, what is the referee doing on the near touchline? If your flag is up, you better be pretty certain there's no reason whatsoever to raise it if you're not positive.
Well, for Villader, he's not going to apologize. His third of the season for a player that Jay Mims tracked down, brought to Union Omaha. And Dev, you've been riding the Villader train for a long time.
Love him, and it's his versatility because he's a back three, he's a back four, outside back. Been pretty interesting as they've moved throughout the season, Mike. They move him into an interior role. Tuck him to the inside so he can hold the width as a wingback, but because he's so good with both feet, he attacks the central location, starts to pull the shape of the opposition. It's very difficult because he's unpredictable. And although it's from a dead ball situation, lovely to see him get involved there.
Sergei Demianchuk is the referee. Kevin Sanchez and Jose Vega are the ARs for this game. And poor Michael Zapata was stuck between the two coaches in that moment. Kept away from Rodrigo Lopez. A lot of contact, and now a free kick. Well, regrettably for Orange County, this has sort of been the story of their season. Every time you start to feel like things are going well, major news this week about their stadium situation that we'll touch on, win over LA Galaxy 2, which was involved in that whole scenario as a yellow card comes out for the tackle. An inadvertent flag, And an early goal conceded on the road. That's Foster put in the book.
Think about the names that have been absent throughout the season as well. Ugo Okoli, Brian Olowski, Dylan Powers didn't join until about 70% of the way through the season. He was a massive component for their success last year on the way to the title. You've had guys in and out, which is a good problem to have for international duty. Youth national team ranks. Of course, Kobe Henry being sold. There's only so much you can do as a manager, Mike, and then you throw in luck. Referees, health, form. Dear Lord, could you ask for anything else to go wrong for Orange County?
They sell Kobe Henry into the French First Division. They sold Ronaldo Damas to the Swedish First Division. He was the MVP of the championship final last year. All of a sudden, the Orange County we knew from last year looks a lot different. And to your point, Karady Oshandina is away with the under-19s for the U.S. Hasn't played an enormous role, only started 3 games and played about 350 minutes all season, but a player that was starting to see more time of late. Tack on here through Brian Olowski. Slaloming ahead from the end line. Service up for Okoli, ripped down by Vidiello.
Notice where it started, Mike, coming into the game. You asked me what I thought about the addition of Ugo Okoli. Then you said, you think they're just going to try and batten down the hatches and play out of him? I said, no, but he is going to be the play-through guy, the hold-up man. That was a good look at it, where he drops in, good hold-up play, and then you're able to use the speed. That's the great thing about Orange County, is they've got so many possessionally capable players, but still the ability to stretch the field. That doesn't always go hand in hand.
Olowski chasing all the way back to Vidiello. Slide in via Dare, couldn't connect. Olowski. Hoffman. Olowski. Save comes from Vidiello. Well, Milan Olowski has been quite the revelation, the youngest 20-goal scorer in league history, and under contract for next year.
Same thing, though, on the run. His understanding, Mike, of where this ball not only needs to be, but where that run needs to come from. Look who's tracking all the way back. You've taken Ugo Okoli, you push him high. Olowski reads the run. He recognizes the separation between the midfield pairings and the back line, so he's just smart enough to not attack space that's already occupied. Drops right up to the penalty mark, ball comes back across. Good opportunity on net.
Slid by Casey and up to Gurr. Gurr taken out by Villanueva. From Atlanta to Aberdeen and now to Sacramento, 26-year-old wingback from Newcastle. Casey, Gurr, through the legs of Olowski. Keko, foul from Powers. Nice build up here, and there's room for Keko to maybe let one fly. Keko went for goal! Took an awkward hop, and Rakowski got a touch to send it wide. And Sacramento taking a quick corner. Ross. LaGrassa. Whipped across in front. Gurr's service pulled in by Rakowski. Well, that's the Sacramento that we've gotten to know a little bit better. The way they can strike so quickly and almost effortlessly at times.
Just need to be a little bit better with decision making. Keko with the run by Jack Gurr down into the corner. Finite moments, Mike. That's going to be the difference for this Republic team on what they're going to do come postseason time. Is it actually going to be a run to the title, like we saw in Open Cup play? Or is it going to be these little decisions that escape them? When you're playing a team like San Diego, you're playing San Antonio, those little moments are what going to separate you from a victory, or you're sending yourself packing. Right now you can get away with it because you've set yourself up to get into the postseason. You can't do it against one of the top 2 or 3 teams in this league.
Peterson throws. Powers. Hoffman. Kasipli. Hoffman again, acquired on loan from Houston. Started 9 games in MLS Next Pro. They were looking to get a different level of competition for him and send him out to Orange County for the remainder of the year. Turned over by Foster. Pulls at Powers. Advantage played. Olowski had an idea, an inkling.
You think he gets to the record?
If you look at their schedule down the stretch, Pittsburgh, San Diego, El Paso, and San Antonio, statistically, the odds are strongly against it.
Well, I told you that when we were talking about this on USL All Access and Sirius XMFC, didn't see it because of Sac and Pittsburgh, and then possibly on the road.
What a ball from Gurr. Foster denied. Rakowski trying to recover. Foster saved off the line. Hoffman stood at the line, forces it out. Foster can't quite believe it. He had the acrobatic backflip penalty in the Open Cup semi against Sporting KC.
That was really his coming out party, and it's because he understands, much like Milan Olowski, where these runs need to come from. Just a tremendous amount of speed, and as he goes, you still create an opportunity on the back post. You'd like that first touch to be cleaner, away from the goalkeeper. Really well done, though, by Patrick Rakowski. That's another thing that we haven't talked about yet is his form. Because it got to a point earlier this year, he lost his job.
He did.
And that's one of the best goalkeepers towards the end of the 2021 USL Championship season. Colin Shuttler was given the nod, stepped in, and it just took a little bit of time to get him back into form. It's a great save, though.
In behind, Rakowski's way out there. Rodrigo Lopez! Disaster for Orange County. And the reigning player of the month in the championship, Rodrigo Lopez, bags another. 2-0 Republic.
Going direct is fine, but where's the communication here? Look at the back line. Orozco steps up, Bobby Skendi all out in no man's land, and then Patrick Rakowski just applauding the save on one end. As you come back the other way, you can't make this mistake. Skendi's got to be better. Orozco's got to be better. And certainly Rakowski. There's too much quality. And how's the touch of class from Rodrigo Lopez, Mike? Has he done anything else this season that isn't of the spectacular nature? I mean, it's all he does, right?
Gurr for Sacramento. Keko grinds away back to LaGrassa. Ross turning Foster. LaGrassa wide and Villader. Attack on again. It's an onslaught from Sacramento. Keko went near post, and Rakowski with the bobble recovers and holds it to the line just to confirm the fact. You know, Dev, I think a lot of people were looking at Rodrigo Lopez, regrettably in hindsight, myself included, and thought, while he was at RGV, maybe this is it for him. He's really struggled his last year in Sacramento in 2020, and you thought maybe even the greatest player in franchise history has seen the sunset of his career. Had a magical year at RGV, led them to the postseason, upset Phoenix, was quick on social media to put me in my place, and then come back here to Sacramento and lead this Open Cup run. A guy who solidified the miracle of Bonnie back in the 2014 semifinal And look at what a run he's put together this year.
I was about to say that you got put in your place, not me.
Oh, no,
not I,
me.
good sir. Yeah, I stayed out of that argument. I knew better. I knew what was coming at me. The reckoning was near.
Okoli. Away by Gurr. And recovered with aplomb by Milan-Olaski. Cuts it through, bounces up. Appeal for a handball, play on, Olaski! Good save, Vitiello got up to meet it.
It's not the best of balls put in by Milan-Olaski. Does this come off the hand, though? That's my question. Right here. Nope. Great job by the referee. That's perfect positioning, right off the lower thigh. And this is the other thing that we haven't addressed about Milan-Olaski. Mike, he's a poacher. Ball just dropping out for him and the opportunity to go 1v1. He'll take that any day.
Corner for Orange County. Swings the service near post. And the run out is on. 4 Sacramento players running at 2 for Orange County. LaGrassa, Lopez, drops down Foster. Form for a striker can be fickle. Foster, 5 goals in just over 600 minutes in the league. Yet he's the one who scored the penalty that made him a worldwide sensation for a day. The right kind of viral. Header from Villanueva. Olaski runs at Sacramento. Villanueva touched away by Dan Casey. What a year Dan Casey's had, the 24-year-old, perhaps except for that Open Cup final.
Well, don't let that be the difference maker in your opinion of the kind of year that he's had, though.
Yep.
Remember, I picked him as my defender of the year. And although Mitchell Tainer is having a fantastic campaign for San Antonio, Casey's not that far behind. Remember, he's just 24 years of age. So much experience because he's been a pro for the last 6 years.
Service, good defense by LaGrassa. I mean, even with Desmond's injury, you've got Vitiello and that typical back 3 with Casey and Donovan, who probably has not got enough credit along the way. But to your point, Dan Casey coming out of the Sunderland Academy, goes through Bohemians and Cork City, and talking about a guy with 6-7 years of pro experience, and he's put it all on display often this year.
Just a friendly reminder, though, that we mentioned the Lee Desmond injury. Duke Lacroix rotating in there. This team has seen it, though, whether it's been Open Cup rotation or some injuries in their own right, nothing major. Heading into that Open Cup final, Mike, that back 3 had only played together once in the previous 7 games. So they understand what it takes to find results with having the preferred, without having the preferred 3.
Ball winds over Okoli. Villadere. '25th minute, Sacramento off and running early. Villadere in the 7th. That's a goal shrouded in controversy. And then Lopez in the 18th. A catastrophic error in the back from Orange County. And Lopez from 40 yards dinks it into the net. A 2-0 lead for the side, 2 games in hand, chasing the second or third position in the Western Conference. And this could effectively be the dagger for Orange County's season. They fail to come back and get all 3 points tonight. Villader. Chucked forward, Foster. Villanueva's there.
Jack Gerger's got to continue that run. Malik Foster, a little flick on, and all of a sudden you have the man advantage, 2v1, 20 yards from goal. That's the one thing. If you're Jack Gerger, you got to keep an eye on. He just scored his first goal of the season. How he only has 3 assists to his name, I will never know, because the guy is an ever-ready bunny on this right-hand flank. Just up and down, over and over and over again. But that's a situation there, Mike, where continue that push going forward, because even if you don't get it, you're dragging space and players with you.
Sneaks into Olaski, who sets that down, and Kasipli puts that into the Tower Bridge Battalion section. Steph, you got a chance to get out to Sacramento for that semifinal against Sporting Kansas City and experience the area around this. It's a pretty fascinating facility that they play here in Heart Health Park and the surrounding area.
Loved it. You got the tram in the background, the state fair is there, and the opportunity to hang out. I will let you know that didn't get an opportunity to taste test the corn dogs, and I'm still barred from riding the Ferris wheel.
No Ferris wheel. Did you get on the slide?
I did get on the slide.
Really?
I did. No footage of it, but it did happen. Correct. Unfortunately, we had to sneak in after hours at night. Want to make sure we didn't get ourselves into trouble on camera. You can understand.
No, I've never broken a rule in my life.
Neither have I. I meant that we went in at night, but someone opened the gate for us.
Right. Donovan for Gurr. Slides by Villanueva. Good leave off there by Keko. And another numbers up moment. Rolled in front. Lopez! Oh, it's brilliant! Now the finishing touch. Foster. You can patent the Sacramento move and the Foster celebration. 3-0 Republic gets a rout.
Sometimes as a manager, Mike, you just sit back and you praise your boys and are so happy because of the ball movement. Off the back line, Jacker on the inversion. I told you, you continue your run going forward. It allows you to stretch the shape of everybody in front of you. Albie Skendy's got to be better from Orange County. This is a really good ball by Rodrigo Lopez, but he doesn't hit it that hard. Malik Foster on the back post run. Look at the switch between the two strikers. Keko all the way back over. This is a team that is going to be feared come October 21st.
Reference to the beginning of the USL Championship playoffs presented by Hisense. 6 on the year for Foster in the league. And Sacramento coming off a 4-0 drubbing of Loudoun United, which in theory was a bit of a gimme on paper. Rolled over by Kasipli, Olaski, Okoli. And Dev, you've been in those moments coming off that kind of loss in the Open Cup final, and then you have to come back home. The fans greet this team at the airport. One fan actually grabbed Mark Briggs' hand after that Loudoun game, said, "Thank you for bringing the energy back, giving us our club back." Lopez was in an offside position. It's hard to turn the page, and yet against Loudoun, they did that, gave these fans what they came for, and they've done it again. They've now scored 7 goals in the last 120 minutes.
The biggest difference for this team, though, is that their quote-unquote hangovers that have occurred coming off of quality results. So Mark Briggs talked extensively after the win over LA Galaxy in the Open Cup quarterfinal and said, we were tired, got to find a way to motivate them. This team doesn't lose often, and if they do, they recover immediately. So the ability, Open Cup or not, to really get right back on it. I actually asked him, would you rather stay on the East Coast He said, no, to your point, we were happy to be back in front of our fans. An opportunity to say thank you, and certainly the way that they've defended, and the way that they've been so consistent, and the attacking prowess that has really taken off in the second half of the season. Look at the back post.
Goodness, here they go again. Foster feigns. Foster through. Contact, card, free kick. Hoffman. Disastrous.
Look at the backside. There's just too much space, and as you're dropping back in here, that's on Ian Hoffman. Richard Chaplow has said multiple times that, you know, when they changed and bumped him up into the higher position for this formation, it was because he's been struggling defensively. Same thing. You leave Albiskendi's side, you're going to leave your wingman, you better be sure you got coverage. And he couldn't track back and help out.
So Foster, who scored moments earlier, wins the free kick in that no man's land that might be just a hair close. Keko, Gurr, and Lopez over the ball. Keko coming up through Atletico Madrid, time in Italy. The age of 30, former Euro Under-17 winner for his native Spain.
Just keep an eye on Damian Viader with all three over, a little touch stop hit to move the ball outside of the wall, get a more clear-cut strike on net against Rakowski.
Dare I say that would come right off the training ground?
There you go. No binoculars in the stands tonight.
Decisions. Roll back. Put in the air! Good save, Rakowski. That's elastic stuff to tonight, Gurr. What in the world was that?
I expected something in the form of trickery, but not this. It's cute. That's exactly what it is. You're not, as soon as the ball comes up, you have two reactions here. Where's the runner and where's the ball going? Not as he's gonna hit it direct. Now they're just having fun. Now you're just sitting back going, how well can we do this? And who's buying drinks later?
Lopez skims away, turned back toward goal and grabbed by Rakowski. Those are the kind of plays you only make when you're 3 goals up in the first half, I suppose. Close enough that it's not grandstanding, far enough away that failing to hit the target isn't embarrassing.
Interestingly enough, coming in, you and I built it as still a team that could play. They're not doing that.
No.
They're 6s and 7s right now. They're all over the pitch. The shape is wrong. The communication is off. Poor decision making, to the point of what they've experienced over the course of the 2022 campaign. It's just intensified here 34 minutes into this game, where you got to find a way to get back on track. It starts with simplistic play. Less is more, Mike, right? Kind of like my voice.
Yes. Dev had too much fun at historic Riggs Stadium, is that right? Is that your most recent locale?
It was, yes. Similar colors, the orange.
Sure.
Clemson and Syracuse. Voice sounds a little different.
It does.
Yeah.
Villanueva goes down. Gurr recovered it.
Wish I could blame the altitude or humidity, but neither are a reference point right now.
Nope. Donovan. Lacroix, whose role is going to be magnified down the stretch of the season with the aforementioned Desmond injury and Achilles injury that have been bothering him significantly for a long time. Through here. Whistle. Back pocket, red card. Orozco's been sent off. Michael Orozco is sent off, 3 goals down. And Foster, who drew a free kick and a yellow card to Hoffman 2 minutes ago, scored 5 minutes ago.
It's really hard to argue it the other way, because as the ball comes back over the top, he doesn't make a play on the ball, just pulls him down. There's not a ton in terms of the contact, but there's certainly enough. Look at the hands, he's all over him, the right arm. It's fabricated a touch by the Jamaican, but he still would have had an opportunity to get to the ball. Rakowski was off his line, not far enough. There's no other defenders in proximity. Some might call it a little bit weak, but you can't blame the referee given the situation and the distance of Malik Foster to the ball.
Well, Richard Chaplow is going to have to manifest a miracle on that pad. Nightmarish here in Sacramento. What do you think about a juggle and shot from here?
Insult, injury, a bonus somewhere. Again, you get into situations like this, Mike, where remove the red card for a second. 35 minutes in, nothing has gone wrong for them. You've shut down both the Losky brothers. Ugo Akoli, almost non-existent. You've got good wing play. The boys on the inside, Matt LaGrassa, Nick Ross doing a tremendous job. Rodrigo Lopez is really waxing poetic. Who wants to step up and put their name in the spotlight? That's where you're standing right now.
Oh, it's Lopez. Lopez for goal. Rakowski, jaw-dropping save. Pushes it up over the bar.
This is the capability of Patrick Rakowski, though. It's not the best from Roro Lopez. Pretty good strike, but watch. It gets it up over. He's got to bring that further to the right. Strikes it true, but the location about 3 yards further to the right to hit pay dirt.
Lopez. Header gets over Villader. You know, Dev, let's talk about Sacramento in the Open Cup here for a moment. They get a nice cash bonus. That's exciting for the club. They reach the final.
Sort of.
Go to Orlando and experience that final. Jeff Carlisle from ESPN reporting that a small 4-figure fine was levied by U.S. Soccer against Orlando City after a member of the organization was seen at practice in the lead up to that Open Cup final. Taylor Twellman reported on that first. You've added to that reporting over the course of the past 10 days, 11 days, I suppose. It was really maybe one of the most fascinating stories that the Open Cup has produced in a long time. Not just that Sacramento was there, but what happened once they got there.
A lot of people will make the argument of, you know, the location of the field. A lot went into that, and maybe something unsportsmanlike in terms of making things available for Sacramento Republic. But I just look at the big picture. If you know something's wrong, Mike, you don't need to be told, right? You walk into a candy shop and steal a candy bar. If nobody sees you do it, it's still stealing.
Why are you looking at me when you say that?
I'm hungry. Contrary to my voice, I'm still looking for a little sustenance to help get me over the hump.
Keko rolls forward, back heel toward Keko. Touched away from Villader. And away by Kasipli.
Within it, though, you were already in a lose-lose if you were Orlando City, because you were supposed to win that game. I made the analogy in the Open Cup preview just before the game that it reminded me a lot of the Pumas Seattle Sounders game from the CONCACAF Champions League. You and I called that together, where Pumas were supposed to win that game.
Right.
On the road or not. You didn't want to be that one team, and so if Orlando City wins, that's great. You were supposed to do it. If you lose, well, now you've set a precedent for everybody else to try and follow that you don't really want to. And then you go into the Spygate issue. It's unsportsman, it was uncalled for, unnecessary, and most importantly, unfortunate, because it did add a little unnecessary asterisk to the entire tournament.
Ball chipped through. This is dangerous stuff. Chipping around and into the palm of Rakowski from Villader, who slipped and slid his way forward. Fascinating weekend around the USL Championship as well. This game stands alone on this Sunday afternoon. Sacramento a chance to inch further up the standings here. Memphis drilled Charleston 5-0. There may be some big news on the horizon for the Battery as well.
Wink,
Hartford,
wink.
a win
Wink,
over
wink.
Los. Yeah, well, listen to SiriusXM this week. Is that about right?
Pay attention to social media tomorrow. Listen to SiriusXM on Tuesday. We got something for you.
Miami draws Atlanta yesterday as well, so that fight near the bottom of the playoff picture, a little bit tougher for Miami. That Detroit win over Tampa Bay, another awesome
Massive
crowd at Keyworth, and
Yep.
probably has to be their best win of the year.
I would actually still make the argument, respectfully, that it was the week prior on the road at Colorado Springs. Even though Colorado Springs have struggled a little bit with form, that's still a ton of talent for Brendan Burke in the Western Conference. They were sitting third, and that's a team that was first, 5 games winning streak to start the season. And so to go on the road in that circumstance, altitude, not too shabby. And a team that solidified their playoff fate. And how about Monterey Bay? A 5-0 drubbing. I mean, dear Lord, were they good.
You called me at midnight Eastern. You called that match, and you said Monterey Bay looked awesome in that game.
Yeah, they were great. And the gentleman that I was with for it, Sean St. Jacques, he said, who do you like in the West? And I said, look, I got to stick with Sacramento Republic. I've been with them all season long. I changed it, not a dark horse anymore. Now you're looking at a real favorite. Hard to bet against the consistency of San Antonio, even though their form is a little bit off. They're still getting results, which is good news. And then Monterey Bay. I don't trust anybody else, Mike. You and I were talking about that. Monterey Bay, below the playoff line or not, I don't trust anybody else but Frank Yallop and that team right now because of how good they are. And they've added so many different layers to it. Sam Galito's playing the 10. What universe are we living in? And he's doing it at a tremendous pace, by the way.
Yep.
I'm not taking anything away from him, but that's a guy who's a left back by trade. San Antonio used him in a wing back spot. They used him in the middle. They used him on the right. Certainly not in an out-and-out playmaking role, but he's been incredible. Chase Boone, Christian Valesky scored his 50th regular season goal last night. Everything is ticking for that team down the stretch.
Devin, I'll take a look at the larger playoff picture at halftime. Tell you who the favorites are in the Eastern Conference, which is locked down now. The top 7 are solidified. It's just where they're all going to land. Ball comes out to Gurr. Gurr got a shot away. Orozco was sent off in the 35th minute. Villader scored in the 7th. Lopez in the 18th. Foster in the 28th. And Sacramento might be breezing to their 9th home win this season. And Old Glory Red has never looked quite this good. Villader got chopped up there. Time with Girona, Barcelona in his youth. Went to Iowa Western and Barton here in the U.S. and then found his way to Union Omaha. He was the first player that Jay Mims scouted to bring in to one of the powers of USL League One since its inception. They in Greenville have sort of been the story year after year, although this year, pretty fascinating playoff race. La Grassa goes down. It's looking good for Omaha and Greenville, but Red Wolves, Tormenta, Charleston, all within a point. Northern Colorado and Forward Madison are hanging in as well in League One. Mentioned that a moment ago. Laced over the top. Foster is running in. Across. Foster taps it in. It's a 4th. Their confidence is sky high. They were inches from a trophy 10 days ago. They seem intent on getting the one at the end of this journey in November.
Not taking anything away from the beautiful play that is Sacramento Republic, but they're just making it easy on them, Orange County. Look at Ian Hoffman. The biggest threat you're going to face is Damia Villader over the top into the channel. That's the scouting report you're going to get coming into this game. And yet twice, which have both led to goals, we've seen it be broken down. You're too high, you don't have the organization. With the Roscoe and the red card, Skenny comes to the back line. Next to Danny Peterson. You draw everything up on the training ground. Expansion of play, the rotation through the middle, the ball's up over the top. Any single attacking piece that you want involved in the run of play has been truly splendid here this afternoon, Mike.
Casey, Gurr, Rakowski. Dev, Orange County is coming off the two biggest wins of their season. They beat Galaxy 2 on the field, and some would argue they beat them in the city council room as well.
I'm with you.
In Irvine, California this week. We'll touch on it a bit in the second half, but for Orange County, the wheels falling off here, playing with 10 and down 4 goals. They're going to have to find something in the locker room, something, anything, because Sacramento has made them roadkill. Foster has scored twice, the 28th and the 45th. Damia Villader scores the first, assists the last. And Rodrigo Lopez capitalizes on an Orange County misfortune from 40 yards. And an utterly dominant Sacramento first half performance. The rain went away, and while the offside flag could have wiped off the opener, Sacramento given the goal, and then they take the rest. Republic 4, Orange County 0. Playoff picture look ahead coming up. USL Championship playoffs presented by Hisense begin October 21st. In Devon out west, it is a beautiful, nightmarish disaster figuring out who's going to play.
I like the phrase, the unmitigated wet disaster. We got to throw that into the verbiage a little bit more. But listen, you got 4 points separating 6th all the way down to 11th. It's a mess this year, and I'm here for it. It is a true testament to the depth of talent within the USL Championship and what the Western Conference is capable of.
Monterey Bay is the side rising. RGV holding on to the 7th and final playoff spot on 39 points right now. Meanwhile, in the East, the top 7 is solidified. That 4-5 game has some hard feelings behind it, to say the least. But Dev, how they actually finish remains to be seen.
This was finally put into concrete last night, and it was a great run by Monterey Bay against an 11, an even better win by Detroit City against the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Maybe a prelude of what is to be to come, but that 4-5 matchup is where I'm really looking. Not sure who's going to squeak themselves into that final home playoff game.
All right, let's talk some games to watch down the stretch on ESPN+. Louisville, Memphis, this could be decisive for the #1 seed.
Could be the decisive for the Eastern Conference #1 seed as well. And Louisville, in order to maintain pace with San Antonio, they got to win this game next weekend. It gives them a firm grasp, not just on the Eastern Conference, but to track down the Western Conference team that is Alan Marcina and San Antonio. And Memphis 901 FC still right there as well. This team probably has still not been given enough credit. They were counted out all season long, and yet they've been extremely consistent right there within the pecking order for #1 in the East.
Yeah, Ben Pierman has performed a miracle there. Meanwhile, San Antonio and Sacramento, that's next weekend as well. And for Sacramento, that could be a home playoff game or not.
The Rabbits always been San Antonio. They've been the one out in front, outside of Colorado Springs early on this season, and everybody's chasing them. So is the road to the final going to go through Toyota Field, or can Sacramento Republic, who was in 8th place, friendly reminder, heading into that San Jose game in Open Cup, has come all the way up till 4, making waves here tonight. Can they continue their run and push into an even higher top 4 spot?
We need to talk about Monterey Bay, because I think only Frank Yallop, the players in the room, and me believe they had any chance to still be relevant at this point the way they started.
They control their own destiny as well, and I talked about it in the Open and through the game itself, that they've got the 3rd best record in the Western Conference over the last 18 games, trailing only San Antonio and San Diego. The tweaks that Frank Yallop has done to the squad has given them the opportunity to get into a playoff position, still sitting on the outside looking in. But what about the Rowdies? They've stumbled a little bit past 2 games. That team needs a home playoff game to be successful.
And then Colorado Springs wild out the gate. El Paso couldn't buy a win, and yet here they are, right side by side in the standings.
5 straight wins for Colorado Springs to start the year is 1 off the USL Championship record. They've fallen flat. They have not been very good recently. And how about the fact that you go 1 win through 8 for El Paso Locomotive, 10 unbeaten, and now only 2 wins through 9? Well, what's going on between these 2 teams? I have no idea. We know that Colorado Springs is going to get into the playoffs. Are they going to finish in 2nd? Are they going to drop down to 4th or 5th? They need a home playoff game as well to use the altitude to their advantage. And this is my favorite one, because coming in, talking to our producer, what 5 games do you want to pick? I said October 15th. I would love to sit at home with my feet up and watch every single game, but we've never seen a season like this, Mike, where everybody coming into the final season in the Western Conference especially, but the movement that will be reciprocated in the East, still had an opportunity to change their destiny come playoff time.
So October 15th is decision day, and then the playoffs presented by Hisense kick off October 21st on ESPN+. First half highlights, and there are a lot of them when we return. as usual, USL on ESPN. We always take a peek at some of the local fare. There was an ice cream and a waffle I saw earlier. There's the bubble cone. A lot of options here at Heart Health Park. Some of them are actually good for your heart. Sacramento's performance in the first half would certainly qualify. They get the opening goal. The offside flag is up. The ball across to Villadere. He nods it home in the 7th minute of play. The goal is given. Surely there's going to be some frustration from Orange County, but they're going to be frustrated in themselves this time around. Donovan, 10 minutes later, drives it forward. Keko in space, drops it back. Lopez from 40 yards out pushes it over Rakowski, 2-0 Sacramento. And the route was on in the 28th minute. Gurr leading upfield. Gurr recovers. And Rodrigo Lopez, picturesque ball in behind, pushed in by Malik Foster through the legs of Rakowski, 3-0. How can it go from bad to worse? It's not a fourth goal, at least not yet. It's Michael Orozco wrapping around Malik Foster. Red card, Orozco sent off. And 55 minutes down a man facing Orange County in a game that could well see them out of the postseason picture. And Sacramento would quickly respond with their fourth in the 45th minute. Villadere doing the damage this time. And Foster a brace, his 7th of the season. The stats are as lopsided as the scoreline. More possession, 10 shots on target. That means 6 Rakowski saves. And Sacramento holds a dominant 4-0 advantage over the reigning champion Orange County at halftime. A staggering result in this California Classico gone wrong. Sacramento 4, Orange County 0. The second half is coming up next. Welcome back to Heart Health Park in Sacramento, joined by a man who looks better than he sounds today, Devin Kerr. Mike Watts on hand. This is the USL Championship on ESPN, and Sacramento, the darling of American soccer, a title winner in 2014, taking on the reigning champion Orange County with a very divisive scoreline at halftime, 4-0 in favor of the Republic on their home ground. Sacramento asked if they could be ruthless. They have been. Maybe a little benefit from the officiating in the first 10 minutes, but a phenomenal performance out and out. Take a 4-0 halftime lead, Dev.
How long did it take you to come up with that, by the way? Looking better than sounding.
You look great.
Appreciate it. Fooled you, too. Didn't know what you were walking into today, did you?
Not quite.
You got an idea last night we were talking.
Yeah. Alosky, Brian Alosky, that is, and Sean Okoli check out at halftime. Kevin Partita and Brent Richards sub on here for Orange County at the break. Playing with 10 due to the red card to Michael Orozco in the 35th minute. Tactically, is there a fix for Orange County in this game?
No, just the sense of dropping down in and keeping pressure in front of you. This comes down to execution. Anytime you go down to 10 men, it's a problem. And the problem that's even bigger is that you're chasing ghosts. It's 4-0. You were 8 points back coming in below the playoff line. You're not playing well. Milan Alosky hasn't been on the ball enough. You just got to find a way to up the intensity, Mike. That's what changes this game.
Well, the intensity remains from Sacramento, pushed ahead by Foster, and cut central, seeking Lopez at the penalty spot. And Alosky got chopped down. There's Richard Chaplow. We had a chance to speak to him this week. It's been a fascinating last few months for Orange County Soccer Club. They won the title 10 months ago at Championship Soccer Stadium. It was called that before they lifted a trophy, by the way. That stadium opened in 2017, 5,000 seats, gorgeous venue in Irvine, California. There was a proposal put forth to the city council that LA Galaxy 2 could potentially use it next year, and that in doing so, it would be with exclusivity as it pertains to Orange County. Foster trying to get around Rakovsky, who recovers. After a pretty constant outcry from the local supporters for Orange County Soccer Club and 2 city council meetings, there was a unanimous 5-0 vote from the Irvine City Council in support of extending Orange County's stay at Championship Soccer Stadium in OC Great Park for another year through 2023. That came on Tuesday, while also asking the city manager to attempt to find an amicable solution moving forward. Richard Chaplow said the win against Galaxy 2 last Saturday, Milan Alosky scored the winner. Galaxy 2 finished with 9 players. He said, we need to do our part on the field to support that fight off the field. They did that on the day. They get the result they want on Tuesday in city council chambers. And now at least they have a plan for next year, one in which I asked Chaplow after that if there's one message you could give, what would it be to fans nationwide about what's happened to Orange County this year? He said, we'll be back next year. Watch us. We'll be stronger. And Orange County hoping that light at the end of the tunnel comes sooner. Ironically, he said his situation compared a lot to what Mark Briggs went through with Sacramento missing the postseason last year for the first time in franchise history.
And you can understand some of that. I would say that the comparison could also come from where you're going to play, being the reference between Sac Republic and what they thought was going to be MLS, right? This was going to be their inaugural season, and instead they've still knocked it out of the park. It's so impressive to me to see individuals, organizations, coaches, what you're capable of doing as a group, Mike. We saw it last year with Orange County. No one gave them a chance. Right, I can remember sitting for the playoff preview with Joe Malfa and Gary Bailey, and there were two teams in the West that I talked about, and I said, Orange County's got the best record against teams on the playoff line. People don't necessarily like that stat. I do, because it shows me what you're capable of against the best. There's a reason Lou City is #1 in the USL Championship in that stat. It's because they're so consistent, especially in the games that matters most.
Keko, end line, service, Lopez, Lopez! That's denied. Massive block. Richards. Villader. The game of pinball leads back to Rakowski.
You like pinball? You seem more like a skee ball kind of guy.
What gave that away?
Big boardwalk fan. I could see you having a nice little stash of tickets when you were growing up.
Can't say I ever got enough to get a real prize. Usually I left with an eraser.
Yeah.
Although pinball, that is how I spent the night I proposed to my wife. We went to a pinball.
By yourself playing pinball?
Yeah, in the middle of Manhattan. Dinner with family and about an hour of pinball.
So you weren't by yourself?
No, she came.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Happy to hear that.
Uh-huh.
And to think I didn't think I was going to learn anything today.
Villader. Ross. Club finished 5 points out of the playoff picture last year. 300 or 400 local soccer players in the stands today. They paraded on the field pregame. There is the potential we could see a very young Thiago Suarez, a teenager, come into this game in the second half. Regrettably, we won't get to see Parady Oshandina, the 18-year-old Illinois native for Orange County. He's been called up to the American Under-19s along with Josh Winder from Louisville City. He's going to sprint beyond Villader. You know, it's funny, Devin, Duke Lacroix is about to become La Crux of the season, I would think. That is quite the turnaround. Oftentimes a wingback, a little bit of center back in a 3 in Charlotte, but to be the guy here down the stretch, that's a big step in for him. 14 in black.
It's the great thing about this back line, though, that Mark Briggs has his utmost confidence put on the shoulders of Duke Lacroix. But even if for any reason you needed to rotate Mike, or form was off, or for whatever the determination was you needed to change, Connor Donovan can slide over there. We've seen Dan Casey there. You've got the ability in terms of depth to bring more players into the back line. Thiago Suarez, as you just mentioned, could bring him in. Mark Briggs and Todd Donovan have done such a good job over the past really 18 months of adding so many different layers to this team. This team is one-dimensional in the 2020 season. And it took a couple of steps last year, but there was so much change in terms of what the team wanted to do long-term. It was hard to implement that true vision, and they've certainly done it this year.
Rain starting to intensify here in Sacramento. Villader. Lopez. Villader. LaGrassa still fighting after it. Had a nice run in Nashville before trekking west to Sacramento. Casey. Over to Casey again. Grew up, it was rugby on Saturdays and then soccer on Sundays. Lays that through for Foster. Keko. And that's going to get out for a corner. We spoke to John Jacobs, who should make the all-league team in PR for Sacramento this year, I'd argue.
MVP?
He's up there.
Could be.
He said, you know, we keep saying, you know, it should be like 10, 15-minute bands of rain, and we hope not too many fans are scared off by that. It's possible with the scoreline, maybe a couple have wandered out to their vehicles. But it's still a ruckus, foot-pounding effort from the fans here. Lopez delivers. Richards taken out of the air. Kick save. Rakowski denies Ross. I don't know if Rakowski knew anything about that. Through again, Villanueva got there.
Hard to believe that it's 4-0, and these are the saves that Rakowski is capable of pulling out. Watch him drop off. Great retreat here. If he stays high, Mike, he doesn't have the ability to shift either side. Instead, he immediately retreats when the 50-50 comes out to the top of the 18. Sets himself in a central location. That's why it's so easy for him to be the determining factor on the tail end of the shot. He just quick little slide, hands out, goes back to work.
Lacroix. Villader. Lopez for Villader. Twisting through. Keko slides it wide. Foster. Lopez angles, serves. Nobody home. Ross. Casey. And a respite through Powers for Orange County. Casey. John Jacobs should take up meteorology. Sun's back.
Oh, because he got it wrong?
No, because it was only a 10-minute band like he said.
Did he say that?
Yes.
I stopped listening after 9 minutes.
Over to Hoffman. Partita. Richards. Brent Richards again. Only his 16th appearance of the season. No Damas, no Henry. They both got sold. Miko Kaningas has been severely limited all season long. At no point has Orange County felt like they had the full deck, including Rob Kiernan, essentially from day one, their best defender last year. Swung in behind. Foster.
You got a favorite team or a team, one or two teams in the West that you feel are head turners? I talked about what my choices were in the first half.
It has to be Monterey Bay.
In the grand scheme of things, obviously there's more favorites, but
sure, but
just to get in.
But for Orange County last year, now don't get me wrong, the way the playoff race ended up working out, they got to host a number of playoff games because of the upsets around them, including RGV knocking off Phoenix, which sort of opened the door for them to make that run in the first place. That'll bounce off of Foster and back to Rakowski.
They got outplayed against Colorado Springs, the retake penalty against Oakland.
Yeah,
there was a lot of favoritism in the best of ways, not taking anything away from it, to go into that title run.
Sure.
It's just been the exact opposite this year.
Keko. It's going to fly over La Grassa. And anytime you've got a team with Sacramento's capability in a cup run, it's a different animal to win those do-or-die games. And they did it time and time again. They did it against Phoenix, LA, San Jose here on their home
Central
ground.
Valley Fuego. That was a 2-1 game in Open Cup that if not for a Rodrigo Lopez penalty in the 95th minute, we're having a different conversation.
On the League One side, they dominated Timbers under 23 in their first round matchup. Whoa, keep your eye on the ball. Danger. And then Kansas City here in that semifinal, and it reached fever pitch before Orlando in the last 20 minutes threw the throttle down after Orlando owned the majority of that game, make no mistake. Sacramento hung in for a while. You'd have to say Sacramento is every team's worst nightmare to see at this stage. Yet San Antonio is saying, good luck coming to our house.
Yeah, and it's a difficult place to play. Best
Very.
home record in the Western Conference and tied for the best in the entire league, if I'm not mistaken.
Hoffman kept it alive.
I have asked a couple of questions to managers about where they would or would not like to play if they were in the East coming to the West.
Where's RGV in that?
No one said San Antonio yet, interestingly enough.
Oh.
Because they like the field, they like the atmosphere, think it's a good place. People have talked about Colorado Springs because of the altitude.
Villadare's offside.
HEB Park because of the travel.
And where dreams go to die.
Yeah, bingo. Now Paso Locomotive is another one. Just, they think that there's a variable that's too hard to determine of what that team's going to be, and especially at home at Southwest University Park, that's a hard place to get a result. Field's narrow, it's tight. They know how to change the way that they play, whether they or somebody else, and not a lot of teams can do that. Republic can.
Republic have. Slides under Kasipli. And there's Lacroix. Pressure from Milan Olaski. Ross carries it out. And now Gurr. Villanueva. Good thievery there. Hoffman. Sacramento's readying changes at this point. In theory, the starting 11, their job is more or less accomplished. In the Eastern Conference, in some ways, it's a shame that Detroit City won't be able to host a playoff game if they fail to reach that top four. I don't think
barring
anyone,
an upset.
Yeah. But you'd have to say that's probably the place people would least like to go.
Yeah, they've done well for themselves. Danny Cruz, the manager at Louisville City, talked about that, how it's got an air of, you know, European lower division football. I sent him some pictures of the club that I play for, and he said spot on. Now to 9 with Isaac, just outside of Hamburg.
Can you slow that down a little bit?
No, not with this voice.
Ball drop back here, Lopez. Keko created the space. He'll take it. Sat up for LaGrassa. As the heel fluck that on. And over to Partita. Roscoe sent off in the 35th minute via Dare. Lopez and Foster twice. Foster sitting on a hat trick. Foster rings out of play off of Peterson.
Too cute. He's got to release this sooner. Malik Foster, he knows it too. All the space that's in front of him. He's made everything look so easy, Mike. Look at the ball by Rodrigo Lopez. Right here. First of all, you'd love him to take it off his left foot. There's no reason, though, that you got 3 separate touches. One touch out in front of you. That first touch has to count. And as you come back across, use your right-footed momentum to then go after the goalkeeper.
Lopez. Foster. Arms outward, Ross got forward. Both sides are preparing to make a minor line change. See Thiago Suarez waiting to come in. Ball bounces through, and to Rakovsky. Dev, try to put into words. I think Mark Briggs did a very good job of it. Thank you for giving us our club back, a fan said to him. You were there earlier this month. You were at the Open Cup final. You've experienced this club now for a number of years. This feels like year one again.
You lost your identity. You know, Rodrigo Lopez had his journey and disappeared and is now back. Simon Elliott, who was the steward for this club for a couple of years after Preki won them the title and he departed, did well for them for sure, but the overall look of what you wanted this team to be never really had a true intention about it. It changed formations a lot. The system of what it was going to be never really amounted to much. Villarreal gone, Sam Werner gone. I mean, say anything you want. Now you look and you know really every player and what they're capable of.
Lopez just got suspended for the next game. That was his 11th yellow card of the year, and it's literally as he's coming off. So Lopez, the reigning player of the month, steps out. He was with Sacramento those first 2 years and then again in 2020. The crowd applauds for players featured in all 4 divisions of the American game in the first and second division in Mexico, including Querétaro, Celaya, Toluca, and Veracruz. He's shaking his head because he knows he won't be featuring in Sacramento's game at San Antonio next time out. Now Lopez comes off. There's 3 players coming on, including Thiago Suarez. Suarez's dad was the number 7 overall pick in the MLS draft, Ryan Suarez, by Chivas USA. Rodrigo Lopez was his teammate in 2005.
Whoa.
Suarez was born in 2005. So think about that for the length and breadth of Lopez's career and the connection there to the Suarez family. That's pretty fascinating.
Love the story that Mark Briggs told us about finding motivation for the game against Orlando City and how his then Willing Hammerheads team, in the 2012 USL Championship season, got into postseason play and ended up knocking them off, the big favorite, And he was saying, you know, we were up 3-0, we were cruising. All of a sudden, Orlando comes storming back. They won 4-3. Wilmington did, but it was funny because on the tail end of it, Roro stood up and said, yeah, I was on that team.
Not only that, but we spoke to him, and Briggs goes, well, Roro didn't play in that game. Yes, he did.
He was actually one of the subs that came up that started the comeback.
In the first half hour, they subbed Lopez off.
Whoops, thanks for coming.
So they actually performed so well that they chased Lopez from the game via Dare crossing that, and Rakowski recovers it. Rodrigo Lopez has enough stories in those cleats to last a lifetime, and he's not done yet, that's for sure. And he was the first ever Player of the Month in Republic history. They've given that award since 2017.
That was strange.
I can't believe it.
Given everybody that they've had, Cam Iwasa and everything that has gone on, how did he not pick up that award?
Well, and someone said, well, you know, there's only been 27 Players of the Month. And I go, yeah, but Sacramento.
Yeah.
They should have one of them. They haven't exactly been riding at the bottom of the table for that 5-year span. McCabe came on for Peterson a moment ago, as Orange County dipped into their bench. Lacroix. Via Dare. Slide in, good work there from Nico Ruiz, the 16-year-old from California that's making his pro debut today. 32 in orange. Marauding run through, and Skendi through the whistle.
There's going to be a curtain call for this man, Keko, and his performance tonight. I mentioned earlier, Mike, the number 9 spot, but who is going to be the counterpart now that you've gotten production out of Malik Foster? Keko's been brilliant tonight. Very accurate on the ball, approaching 80%. The ability to stretch the game, come and square back across. Look at the eyes, always forward thinking. Take opportunities himself. He's got speed, possessional capability, and the big number to me, 26 passes in the final third today. Some people might look and go, what does that mean? Well, you need someone to distribute. That's more than Roro Lopez. That's more than Malik Foster, Jack Gurr, via Dare. That's the compliment that Mark Briggs is looking for when his team starts to move forward. They haven't had it recently. Brilliant shift tonight.
Well, there's Ruiz over the ball. 6 months with the reserve team, signed an academy deal just over a week ago. He was unused last time out and now debuts for the first team. 16-year-old from Costa Mesa, California. And then Olaski standing over the ball. He's a much more known commodity. Ruiz, that stay in.
Oh, off the head, watch out.
The good news is a little bit of a smile from Donovan. Substitutions incoming, so here's the real story for Sacramento down the stretch, because they seem to be clicking in every other way. How does Deshaun Brown and Luther Archimed and Douglas Martinez and Malik Foster, how does that group either coalesce or someone pull ahead for the striker position and for those frontline spots as Keko comes off?
Got to find a way to do it too, because teams will get the better of you where Roro Lopez is going to be off and he's not going to be the savior. and Malik Foster is going to be marked out of the game. Good example of that is the Sporting Kansas City game in the Open Cup semis. Now I understand opposition a little bit different, but end result still the same, and you go scout it. This is an opportunity for these young men. The Syracuse man, Luther Archimed, his speed, he's got the opportunity to stretch the game, and when you pair him with someone like DeJour Brown, where it's tit for tat, right? You can go direct up over the top, you can play into their feet, you get someone down underneath to play off of them. You really only need one in transition, but both together even better. But you got to go show Briggs why. Tell him why you're the guy that should be paired next to Malik Foster. Because if it's Kekos continues this way, it's always going to be number 7.
Yep. Even Richard Chaplow said, I look forward to asking him after the game. So how's that number 2 striker position leaning? How's that front group leaning for that last piece of depth, or even that starting striker role should Foster falter? Though he certainly didn't tonight with the 2 goals.
No, and it's going to remain Foster, and I would say that it's going to remain Keko, because Mark Briggs has talked to me about his quality within training and some of the glimpses that he's seen throughout some of these matches. There's a reason why he played La Liga. Now, maybe it's a bit of a shade from the years of yore, but he's still got that capability. So expect those 2 to be the guys, and then the 3rd, the 4th, who's the next man running, because their numbers are going to be called.
Villader, pickpocketed. Pushed ahead. He almost came in without a word. Cubo Torres into the game. Former Mexican international who featured in the 17 Gold Cup for El Tri. Last 2 seasons in Atlanta. Grind over the top.
You and I talked about him coming in now. The vision, oh, that's a foul. Watch out. That should be a card. No malintent, but boot that high into the head. And that for this team, they returned so many players, Mike. But who was going to be the striker? Who was going to be the guy to step up? And we got 4 or 5 minutes into that conversation. You're like, yeah, the goals haven't really come. And I paused for a second. I said, are you kidding me?
Well, I'm not thinking about Olowski.
No, you were
I'm not really sure why.
Yeah. But still, I mean, he's got 9 goals to his name.
Sure.
Torres. That's not bad. The compliment up top is the problem. It's always been Milan, and kind of like Sacramento, who's the other guy? Now, Kubo's bagged some goals, but certainly hasn't been on the same page. And statistically, they've outclassed everybody up there. That's one of the best scoring duos in the entire championship, and your team's at the bottom of the Western Conference.
Sosa. Return to Cuello. Lassoed away. Suarez chases that down. Cuello. Get a shot at his former team next time out against San Antonio. It's next weekend. Live on ESPN Plus. Sacramento finishes home against Phoenix, away to Galaxy 2. Home against Pittsburgh is an intriguing game on October 9th. I'm sure the Riverhounds must be overjoyed to have to come out to the West Coast a week before the playoffs.
Imagine that. You're Bob Lilly. Preparation for that game. I say that with the highest amount of respect. That's a mastermind for sure.
Suarez. There's Cuello. And again, Lopez grabbed his 11th yellow seconds before leaving the match, which means if he wants to travel to San Antonio, he can, but if he does, he can't play. his second accumulation suspension of the season. There. Lacroix, a familiar wide position, lost the handle. Floated central by Ruiz. Now the run out is on through Partita. Torres. Villanueva, Torres.
So out of sync. That ball's got to come 10 seconds sooner. Notice how quickly he doesn't play the first one, cuts back in, then comes back across his body to give it where he should have gone in the first place. You allow Republic to drop in and set themselves defensively. Told you the first half, Mike, little moments. They're the biggest difference between good and great, and the problem is for Orange County tonight, they're just looking to get to good. They've been nowhere near it, unfortunately.
Richards drives forward. He's going to stay away from Olaski. Chipped in behind. Archimed is available. The ball across. Did that touch off Archimed last? No, an Orange County defender, corner one. Sosa getting up the line. Archimed available.
They get caught again as the ball comes up over the top, but it is a good recovery defensively with all the bodies inside the box. Archimed was all by his lonesome and then quickly turned into a 3v1-4 if you include the goalkeeper Rakowski.
Ball across, header, no, Suarez. Denied by the post. Almost scored his first pro goal on national TV.
He may only be 17 years of age, but how's this? 6'5", good timing. That's a heck of a matchup he's on too. Look who's right on his shoulder, Dylan Powers. It's very difficult to get the best of that man. That's a seasoned MLS vet, a title holder from the USL Championship, and yet really well done by the youngster. Certainly not lacking for confidence, is he?
No, the Sacramento Academy, yeah, has put out a lot of babies that turn into really solid players.
That's a kid, though, that if you watch in the next 18 months or so, I'm not going to say it's going to determine his career, but you're going to see one of two things. A massive increase where he takes off and a guy becomes a big name within this league with a massive transfer, or he'll eventually become a pro, maybe go the college route. There's no in between. He's not going to slowly step into the USL Championship. He'll end up at college, or he'll be this guy really touted within the recruiting ranks. The USL Championship has done such a good job, Mike, over the past 2 years of really showcasing themselves on that level.
Yeah.
We talked about Kobe Henry and his transfer earlier this season. Obviously, we've got Jonathan Gomez from Louisville City. Argentina, you mentioned earlier, and what that future could look like. Villanueva, I'd make the argument for on the far side of the screen for Orange County.
Torres. Let's talk about Milan Olaski here for a moment, because you talk about young players. He's the youngest to 20 goals in this league. And Debbie's 23, cut loose by RSL, signs here. They believe he can do anything on any given day, and they hold an option on him through next year, which is a big deal. So if you're Orange County, you had the option here on Ronaldo Damas. The right deal came from Sweden. You do right by the player, you do right by the club. You get the option to send Kobe Henry to France for what could be a league record transfer. Sure, it makes all the sense in the world for player and club. Well, with Olaski, they're determined over this offseason. If it's right, he'll move on. Otherwise, they'll hold that 2023 option and keep him for another year.
And he was right in that area transitionally between Jorge Salcedo and Ryan Jordan, who's taken over the program at UCLA. But a lot of people talked about what a playmaker he was. Those same people have also talked about maybe some of the lack of reps for Real Salt Lake. Only 2 appearances in 2 seasons, most of which came coming off the bench for a couple of minutes. The brunt of the work being done with the Real Monarchs, their USL affiliate at that point in time. 5 goals and 3 assists and 18 appearances, not too bad. And he's done well for himself this year because he said no matter who he's up against, he'll find a way to be successful. He's certainly upped his stock, especially since some of that dropped coming out of Real Salt Lake.
Partida accepts the yellow card.
There's that cut inside that we talked about for Villader. Really impressive by that young man who's that cut to the inside. He didn't have that regularly in his game under Jay Mims at Union Omaha. And it's not that he wasn't capable, it's that he wasn't asked of it. All of a sudden, you give him the freedom, you give him the confidence. There's seemingly a story to tell for almost every player on the pitch for Republic in the same situation.
Feels that way. Lacroix. Villader. That's a dicing effort. Sosa able to maintain it. Back now, LaGrassa. Well, this win won't move Sacramento up the standings. It will mean they're breathing down Colorado Springs and San Diego's neck. They've got a game in hand. They'll be on 49 points. So that'll put them 6 points ahead with a game in hand for 5th, which would be a road game in the first round of the playoffs. But just 2 points behind Colorado Springs and 6 off of San Diego. 5 games to go for the Republic. All still there for them.
Well, Mike, we certainly had a lot of questions coming in as to what could be for Orange County. We knew the fate for Sacramento Republic was already there.
Maybe something here for Orange County that breaks down and Ross drives it away.
Slow start, poor play. Let's be fair, it was abysmal. Haven't seen anything like it for the visitors all season long, and that's certainly not the story that we told. But when you come out that flat against such a talented team, especially one that's in form, it's hard to recover from it. The red card from Orozco in the 35th minute, never looked back. This does remind me, and I understand the opposition is different, but that 6-0 victory you talked about earlier for Timbers U23s.
Yep.
You just put it on cruise control. You go score 6 in the first half there, you make changes, give everybody some experience. Eerily similar here, and I told you, it's a team that is going to be feared. There's a lot of work to be done. The good news is the final 5 games, they've only got to play 2 on the road, one of which you can make a real argument for at San Antonio next week, but the other side of it is there's only 1 midweek game. It's a good balance for a team that's been able to maneuver the troubled waters so frequently, and for Orange County, this was the swan song. This was the last hope for Richard Chaplow and his band of merry men. Also for Olaski to chase down that coveted Golden Boot record, which is 25 goals. He'll get more, I'm sure, and the opportunities will be there for him, but it seems like we're probably saying farewell to Orange County for the rest of the season in terms of playoff hopes, and certainly everybody else around the league is saying hello to Republic because of how good they're playing right now.
Rare instance where the reigning champion appears poised to miss the following postseason. Orange County recovers the ball, and there's no stoppage. An avalanche of Sacramento goals, and they continue to put their best foot forward time and time again on the national stage. A 4-0 victory via Rodrigo Lopez and Foster twice over, and the Republic dominate Orange County. They remain in fourth and just 2 points off third in the Western Conference. Rodrigo Lopez legend continues to grow. The USL Championship playoffs presented by Hisense begin October 21st. In the intervening month, we hope you join us on ESPN Plus for a wide range of important games. The top 7 in the East are decided, but the West is still a beautiful mystery. For our entire team, Devin Kerr, feel better, buddy. Mike Watts saying so long from Sacramento. Republic 4, OCSC 0. Good night.